I'm Zakaria Mitei, and I work for Unilever, specifically the Unilever, the tea procurement part of Unilever. So when I say I'm the Sustainable Agriculture and Good Manufacturing Practice Manager for Africa, it's only as regards to the tea procurement part of Unilever in Africa. I want to share with you some two projects that we in Unilever have been involved in the sustainable agriculture area. Unilever, as most of you would know, is a multinational company operating in many, many countries and involved in many, many products, and tea is one of them. So why Unilever is involved in sustainable agriculture is basically that. The first reason is that we use a lot of agricultural products in making our brands. Some of them are there. So that's the first reason why we have to be involved in sustainable agriculture. Secondly, there is pressure from consumers, from the NGO community, that farmers, producers must be responsible producers. So that's the other reason. The third one is that if you don't have sustainable producers, then you lose them in the long run, and so they are not good enough. So those are basically some of the reasons why we are involved in sustainable agriculture. But the first one is really the main one, that we use a lot of our raw materials that make our products from agriculture. Now, Unilever itself has been on sustainable agriculture for a very long while. We have, for example, we are involved in farming ourselves. For example, we have tea farms in Kenya and in Tanzania. And this is where we have been practicing sustainable agriculture for a very long while. Now, the projects I'm going to share with you do not involve farmers or Unilever as a farmer. It involves suppliers of Unilever. So I wanted to show this slide, because when I go into the suppliers, somebody might say, what about yourself? So in terms of sustainable agriculture, we have been at it for a very long time. I think it's more than 15 years. And we have our own Unilever code of practice for sustainable agriculture. Currently, Unilever has made some commitments, 3 of which are those ones. I've brought the 3 because they are relevant. That all the tea that are used in PG tips, I hope quite a number of you might recognize the name, PG tips, Lipton yellow label, tea bags in Western Europe must come from Rainforest Alliance certified farms. I'll talk a little bit later who Rainforest Alliance are, for those who may not be familiar. And this has already been achieved. That all the tea that we use in PG tips and Lipton yellow label are from sustainable sources. And in the journey, the next milestone is that by 2015, all Lipton yellow label tea bags, this is now not only in Western Europe but in other places, America, Japan, everywhere. We have a lot of this tea in a lot of countries in the world. So by 2015, we should have all these to be coming from Rainforest Alliance certified farms, which in our Unilever understanding is sustainable sources, because the Rainforest Alliance certification program ensures that the producers actually follow a code of production that makes production sustainable. And then apart from tea, in Unilever, Unilever has committed again itself that all agricultural raw materials must come from sustainable sources by the year 2020. So all the other raw materials like, say, palm oil, peas, fruits, all those must come from sustainable sources by the year 2020. It's a very, very ambitious task, target to achieve. I know because I'm in this job myself, and you deal with huge number of farmers, huge number of factories, middle-level factories, and to achieve that, we really have to work very hard. That is what we understand by sustainable agriculture. I know there are many definitions, but one of them being farming in a responsible manner, while enhancing profitability or maintaining it, but for the well-being of people and the environment, now and in the future. So that's what we understand by sustainable agriculture. Maybe there are different versions of defining it, but I think basically it's about three things: profit, people, and environment. As I said, I'm going to narrow down to some projects that we in Unilever have done, especially here in Kenya and in the tea procurement side. Now, in 2006, Unilever, in conjunction with KTDA, KTDA stands for Kenya Tea Development Agency, and with help from DFID, this is the British arm for foreign, I think, investment or, yeah. Yeah. So, in conjunction with the British DFID, set up a project whose aim was to try and share what we in Unilever knew about sustainable agriculture to the farmers in Kenya Tea, or the farmers under Kenya Tea Development Agency. KTDA, as it is now, is an agency that manages about 54 tea factories in Kenya that are supplied by small-scale farmers. They are a management agency. Previously, it used to be a regulatory body or an authority that was managing the tea industry. But now it has changed a little bit. Now KTDA has got a lot of farmers that supply their factories. At the moment it is more than 500,000. And these farmers and their factories produce 62% of Kenyan tea production. So it's a very significant sector. So there was this project, and you can see the figures, what each of them donated, either in cash or in kind. Now this project was basically to actually share, as I say, the sustainable agriculture practices with the farmers and the factories of KTDA, but in a very small way initially. So those are the project objectives. One was to demonstrate the economic value of good sustainable agriculture to smallholder farmers. The other one was to reduce the cost of tea production in small holdings by fine-tuning inputs like fertilizer and so forth, maintaining the product value in all KTDA traditional markets, facilitate recognition of KTDA farmer, reduce the negative impact of tea production on the environment, and also look at other ways where the farmer could earn some money apart from tea, and fuelwood, that is growing trees for use as fuel wood in the factories, was one of them. In that project, we decided to take two approaches of engaging the farmer. The main one was using what we call the farmer field school approach. Now, farmer field school is a school, as the word suggests, where farmers are participants. You could call them students, but they actually learn by doing it themselves. And one of the reasons why we chose this was because, especially in terms of good agricultural practices, sustainable practices, a lot of these, they are not new. They have been developed in the research institutions, the extension system of the government or the company, KTDA in this case, has been doing it over the years, but the penetration or adoption is fairly low. So this approach was to try and involve the farmers in the learning process. And of course, the conventional, we didn't completely discard the old method that is being used, because sometimes it will be essential. Not everything could be done through the farmer field school approach. Now, some few figures about what this project involved in terms of number of factories and number of farmers. We had 4 factories, which had 6 schools each, to make a total of 24, and each school had 30 farmers, to make a total of 720, who joined voluntarily. This was like the starting point of the bigger picture, which I will share with you. Now, after, getting involved in the farmer field schools, which I have described in that slide, towards the end of the project, we enhanced the project to cover more farmers. In fact, we enhanced the project to cover all the farmers in all the 4 factories, because we wanted them now to go for the next level, that is Rainforest Alliance certification. I'll share with you why Rainforest Alliance. As I said earlier, Unilever has got its own code of practice as far as sustainable agriculture is concerned. Now, we chose to work with Rainforest Alliance, which is a non-profit making organization that tries to promote sustainable agriculture itself, because ours and theirs were matching very closely. And so in 2007, when Unilever decided that they would henceforth be trying to source its tea from Rainforest Alliance certified factories, we enhanced the project to now assist the factories to go for Rainforest Alliance certification after the involvement in the earlier project activities. So this was much more work, because instead of the 720 farmers who were all of a sudden talking about more than 10,000 farmers in each factory. And so we had to make the farmers commit to that. We had to train the staff and the farmers themselves, carry internal audits, and address any outstanding issues that were not meeting the Rainforest Alliance code, and then we go for audit and certification. And that we achieved in 2008, all that. Yeah, I just wanted to show there why we went for Rainforest Alliance as the certifying body. It's because if you look at the left side, those are the what we call in Unilever indicators in our Sustainable Agriculture Code, while on the right, those are what Rainforest Alliance call principles in their code. And you will find that they are closely matching. And this is also an opportunity to show you what, when we were engaging with the farmers, we were engaging initially under the Unilever code, yeah, which had a lot to do with what we have been talking about land, about water, about energy, and so forth. Okay, and when we adopted, or we decided to go for the Rainforest Alliance certification, this is what was in there, and it was a very close match. Now, so that first project continued from 2006 to 2008. Then in 2010, we went into another project again. That involved this time Unilever, Rainforest Alliance, the KTDA, of course, and the donor which came forward this time was the Dutch Trade Initiative, or IDH. Now, in terms of total value of the project is in the last line there. It was worth 2 million euros from IDH in 2010 and 11, and about half of that was to be spent in Kenya. So the partners, the main partners, there are many more, but minor ones, but those are the main partners that came together in this second project: Rainforest Alliance, Unilever, KTDA, and this time we had the Wageningen University, as WUR refers to Wageningen University in the Netherlands. That was to actually do some studies as we continue with the project. They were involved in some studies and provided some expertise. Now, in the second project, the project objectives were that we train and certify on the Rainforest Alliance program 20 out of the 54 factories in KTDA. That covered 236,000 farmers out of the possible 530 farmers managed by KTDA. And this has been going on now for almost 2 years, and we are about 60% achievement. We were to train extension staff on farmer field school methodology for all KTDA factories. And this has been done 100%. Support the FFS upscaling program for 2 years, and this is almost fully achieved. we were to study wood fuel consumption reduction best practice in partnership with other actors in the tea sector. That has been done. Study LFS certification programs to determine and share best practice for scaling up of training activities, and this is already well underway. Carry out gender study to understand challenges and opportunities for improvement, and this has been done. So those are the main objectives for this second project, which actually came up as a result of the success of the first project. And this is the one we are involved in up to now. So, after all these years, what do we see as having been achieved? The certification process and the sustainable agriculture delivered through the farmer field school approach has actually enabled some training from farmer to farmer because of the approach is like that you learn yourself, and then later you teach other farmers what you have learned yourself. So there's a lot of farmer-to-farmer training. The internal management system model has delivered a lot of benefits to the factories that are involved, including improvement in quality. In terms of agricultural practices, we have seen a lot of improved productivity in terms of how much tea by unit area that the farmers are getting, those who have been involved. Of course, we have seen better control inputs, especially in terms of fertilizer, how much they apply. Better fuel wood practices. I've said that we had a sharing. This was, in fact, the tea industry wide kind of sharing of good practices in fuel wood management. And there are quite a number of other things that we have achieved, including planting more trees and preserving them, conserving the riparian areas of tea farms, and so forth and so on. Water produce being protected. Better conditions. One of the things that we have seen in this project is where farmers who until now were not using, say, personal protective equipment when they are applying chemicals are now using those equipment. And there are quite a number of other advantages or benefits that have been witnessed. Now, in terms of, say, Unilever has also seen some advantage in the market. Okay, maybe I cannot provide figures, but I know one brand where we have moved from second position to first in the market. So that was also working for Unilever. And many more packers of tea have actually followed this system that we started, where you work with the producers from the farm level and engage with them. So we have seen so many other buyers coming up with similar schemes, and we think that's quite commendable. I think that's about the last slide. We have a lot of challenges. One is to do with finances, because organizing, as I said earlier, organizing a huge number of farmers into these farmer field schools or sustainable agriculture or trying to go for certification is really a huge task, which involves a lot of money. So maybe if there was help, that is where we need a lot of help. All right, thank you very much. That is an example of a farmer field school session.
Okay, exactly.